Hello students. Welcome to MI Academy. Today we are going to study the first lesson, Chemical Basis of Life in Grade 10 Science. All the explanation videos of Grade 10 Business Studies are attached to the Grade 10 Business Studies playlist in my channel, and the link of it is in the below description. If you want, you can click on it and watch them, and also please stay subscribed, and turn on the notification bell icon, so that you can watch my videos soon after uploaded, without missing. If you have any questions or doubts, don't hesitate to mention in the comments. Okay, first let's see what are we going to study in this chapter. This chapter explains the elements and compounds connected with the life of organisms. There are only about 25 elements in the living body out of the 92 elements present in nature. They are present at different locations in the body in different forms. Carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and nitrogen are the main four elements. These four main elements make up the bodies of living organisms. In addition to these main elements, there are other elements in smaller amounts. Those are sulfur, phosphorus, sodium, magnesium, potassium, calcium, iron, and chlorine. We will be discussing these elements later. As you can see, this chart gives you the percentages of the four common elements present in human body. So out of these, oxygen is the element that is present in very high percentage. There is 65% of oxygen in the human body, 18% of carbon, 10% of hydrogen, and 3% of nitrogen. So if we look at the elemental composition according to the mass in a human body, oxygen, carbon, hydrogen, and nitrogen, the rest of the element make up only 4% of the human body. All these elements combine together and form different types of chemical compounds. Now we will see what type of chemical compounds are there in a living body. So the chemical compounds are mainly grouped into two types. One is organic compounds, the other one is inorganic compounds. Compounds which contain carbon are known as organic compounds. Those organic compounds that build up the living body are known as biological molecules. They are carbohydrates, proteins, lipids, nucleic acids, and vitamins. Compounds which does not contain carbon are known as inorganic compounds. Some of the inorganic compounds contain carbon. They are carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, carbonates, bicarbonates. Examples for some of the inorganic compounds are water, minerals, gases. So now we will look at the different types of organic molecules that are present in the bodies of living organisms. So the first type is carbohydrate. Now when we say carbohydrates, this is the most abundant organic compound on Earth, and they are produced by the photosynthesis process of green plants. The green plants produce glucose and oxygen. Here the glucose is a carbohydrate, and this glucose can be converted to other forms of carbohydrates as well. Carbohydrates are made up of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen only. Therefore the basic structural unit is glucose, which is denoted as C6H12O6. Examples for foods which contain carbohydrates are potato, sweet potato, grains, sugar, flour. Now let's see how we can classify carbohydrates based on their molecular formula and the structure. So carbohydrates can be classified into three groups. So under that we have three types: the monosaccharide, disaccharide, and polysaccharide. Mono means one, so there is only one sugar group, and saccharide means sugar. All the carbohydrates are made up of monosaccharide units, so this is the structural unit of carbohydrates. They are known as simple sugars. They are crystal-shaped, sweet, and water-soluble. Molecular formula of monosaccharide is C6H12O6. There are three different monosaccharides that we are going to discuss. All these monosaccharides have the same molecular formula. So under this we will be looking at glucose, fructose, and galactose. So the first one, glucose, is present in ripened fruits. All of y'all would have eaten fruits, and I am sure you love fruits. These fruits have a sweet taste, because they contain glucose. Now we will see some facts about glucose. Now, as you all know, I said before, during photosynthesis the green plants produce glucose, so that is how glucose is mainly produced. When the glucose is produced within the body, after digestion that gets absorbed to the bloodstream, and the blood transports the glucose as energy to the cells when required. The second monosaccharide is fructose. Fructose is one of the main components in ripened fruits. A sugar found in ripened fruits, therefore we call it the fruit sugar. Also it is present in bee honey, pumpkin, and carrots, and I'm sure you would have eaten all these food items, and you know all of them have a sweet taste, so fructose is the sugar that has the sweetest taste, so this is the sweetest sugar. Third type of monosaccharide is galactose. This is mainly present in dairy products like milk, yogurt, curd. This does not have sweet taste. If you have drank the fresh milk without adding sugar, then you would have felt this. I'm sure students, now you would have got a very good understanding about how monosaccharides are formed. Now let's move on to the disaccharide. Two monosaccharides join together to form a disaccharide molecule, and during this process a water molecule is released. Di means two. Two sugar molecules and a water molecule is released during this process. This is also crystal-shaped, sweet and water-soluble. Disaccharides are maltose, sucrose, and lactose. So now we'll see the locations, and the uses, and the characters of different types of disaccharides. First we will look at maltose. Now maltose, germinating seeds. It is present in germinating seeds, and one molecule of maltose is made from two molecules of glucose, and a water molecule is released. Second type of disaccharide is sucrose. Sucrose is the sugar that we use at home, so sucrose is a component of white and brown sugar. It is present in sugar cane. It is present in beet. In some fruits. The sucrose molecule is made up of one glucose molecule and a fructose molecule, so when a glucose and fructose combine together, they form a molecule of sucrose and release a molecule of water. Now we will look at the third type of disaccharide, that is lactose. So lactose again is present in dairy products. Lactose molecule again is made up of two monosaccharides, one is glucose, the other one is galactose. So when a molecule of glucose and galactose combine together, you get a molecule of lactose with the releasing of water molecule. There is about 4 to 6% of lactose in cow's milk, and 6 to 7% of lactose in human milk. So now let's see what is polysaccharides. Poly means many monosaccharides combined together. So a polymerization of a large number of monosaccharides form a polysaccharide molecule. Remember students, I explained before, when two molecules of monosaccharides combine, one molecule of water is removed, so here many molecules of monosaccharides combine together. Therefore a lot of water molecules will be removed. Therefore it has a common molecular formula, C6H10O5, and out of the brackets we use the simple N to denote that there are many monosaccharide units. They are not soluble in water, they are not crystals. There are different types of polysaccharides. They are cellulose, starch, and glycogen. Now let's look at the first type of polysaccharide. It is cellulose. Cellulose is present in the cell wall of plant cells and in fibers. This cellulose does not digest within the digestive system, therefore cellulose cannot be absorbed by the human body. Cellulose helps to avoid constipation, because the fibers help the removal of feces from the body. Now let's look at the second type of polysaccharide, that is the starch. Starch is present in many food items like yams, potato, sweet potato, cereals, jackfruit, and breadfruit. Starch is the main storage component present in plants. The carbohydrates are stored in the form of starch in plants. Then the last type of polysaccharide is glycogen. This is present in animal liver and muscles. Like starch, glycogen is the main storage component in which carbohydrates are stored in animals. Now let's summarize the significance of carbohydrates. It is an energy source, so under this we said glucose is the main component that is broken down and provides energy to the cells. The second significance says, carbohydrates are storage compound. So as we saw before, both the starch and glycogen are two types of carbohydrates which are main storage components in plants and animals. Then the carbohydrates are present as structural components. It is said that cellulose is present as the structural component in the plant cell wall. The last one is, as a constituent of nucleic acid. About this let's study in the nucleic acids part. Okay, so now we have come to the end of the discussion on how carbohydrates are formed, the different types of carbohydrates, and the significance of carbohydrate. I hope it is clear to you. Then let's see what are proteins. Protein is an essential constituent in all living cells, and it mainly makes up different parts of the living cells. Human body composed of proteins has the all four elements, carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and nitrogen, so it is made up of CHO, and N, and also sometimes there can be sulfur. So these four elements combine and form a molecule or compound called the amino acids, and these amino acids combine in large number and form the protein molecule. The small units which are called the amino acids, these are the basic structural unit of proteins. And if we look at different types of food that are rich in proteins, we can consider meat, fish, egg white, and some cereals. So now we will look at the different types of proteins present in living organisms. Actin and myosin are the proteins present in muscles, and they help to give flexibility to muscles. Then the next type of protein is present in bones is ossein, which provide a structure for the body. With the presence of bones only we have a certain shape and we are able to move our limbs. The third type of protein is present in red blood cells is hemoglobin, and hemoglobin is an important component of blood that transports oxygen throughout the body. The next one is the protein present in hairs. As you know, mammals have hair on the skin, their hair, on your head, the hair all around the body. This is therefore protection. Protection of the skin from cold weather and is given by the keratin protein. Protein present in plants is leguminous food. Some examples of leguminous food are beans, long beans, soya beans, so these legumes contain a protein are called legumin. Wheat has gluten protein, that is another type of protein that is present in wheat. And finally, this type of protein-rich food is egg white, and this egg white contains a special type of protein that is called albumin. Now we will discuss the significance of proteins. As an energy source, when there is insufficient carbohydrates or lipids, then the protein will act as the energy source to make structural components. The cell membrane is made up of protein. Keratin is a protein present in hair of mammals and feathers of birds, therefore protein is a structural component. As enzymes, this is a special type of protein that is produced within the body, and the function of this protein is to increase the rate of biochemical reactions taking place inside the living body. Example, to convert sucrose into glucose, sucrose has to be heated with a dilute acid. But the enzymes present in the digestive system do the same reaction at a low temperature. As hormones, hormones are some of the proteins which involve in homeostasis and coordination of organisms. E.g., insulin, growth hormone. We will study further about the hormones in our upcoming units. As antibodies, the antibodies are produced in the body to protect the body against microorganisms that enter into the body. Some of these are proteins. Okay students, now let's see what are lipids. Lipids are fats and oils. Lipids which are solid at room temperature are called fats, and liquids are called oils. Lipids are similar to carbohydrates. They have the same carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen as constituent elements. The basic structural unit is fatty acids and glycerol, which means the carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen forms the compound fatty acids and glycerol, then many fatty acids and glycerol combine to form lipids. And then the examples for lipids are ground nut, coconut, gingerly, butter and margarine. Now let's see the significance of lipids. As an energy source, lipids act as an energy source as carbohydrates and proteins. And then, to form different structural components, lipid is one of the most important compounds in cell membrane. They form phospholipids and cholesterol. For conservation of water, the wax known as cutin present on the surface of the plant body conserves water. To maintain the body temperature, warm-blooded animals such as birds and mammals possess a hypodermal fat layer which acts as a thermal insulator. It helps to maintain their body temperature. Then, to protect the internal body organs, the fat layer surrounds the organs and structures in the body and absorbs external shocks, thereby provides protection. To synthesize some hormones, like proteins, some hormones like estrogen, testosterone, are lipid compounds. I hope you have understood. Now let's see about nucleic acids. Okay students, now let's see what are nucleic acids. Nucleic acids are the molecules which carries the genetical informations or characteristics. It contains carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, and phosphorus elements. The basic structural unit is nucleotides, which means the carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, and phosphorus elements forms the compound nucleotides, then many nucleotides combine to form lipids. Each nucleotide is made up of 3 components. They are nitrogenous base, pentose sugar group, and phosphate group. This shows the structure of the nucleotide, how the nucleotide is formed. Okay, then here, nucleic acids are divided into 2 types. First one is the DNA. The structural unit of DNA is deoxyribonucleotide. DNA transfers genetic characteristics from generation to generation. The second one is RNA, which means ribonucleic acid. The structural unit of RNA is ribonucleotide. The function of RNA is protein synthesis. Now let's see the significance of nucleic acid. Nucleic acids are important in storing of genetic information of organisms. It is important to transfer genetic information from generation to generation. Important in protein synthesis process. Important in controlling all cellular activities in a cell. The information to control cellular activities is present in DNA. DNA is the main component which controls the cell. RNA is important in storing genetic information of some viruses. Okay students. I hope you have understood up to now. You can mention your doubts in the comments. I will try to answer as soon as possible. We will be studying about the water, minerals, and vitamins in our next video. So please subscribe to MI Academy, and turn on the notification bell icon, to all, so that you can watch my upcoming videos without missing. Also please, like my videos, and add up your questions and doubts in the comments. I will try to reply them as soon as possible. Share the videos with your friends, and help them to learn quickly and easily. Bye students, let's meet in our next video.